Our gospel reading for today, Jesus is telling a parable about the kingdom of heaven. And in this parable, Jesus is describing a wedding feast where the king of the kingdom sends his slaves out, his servants out to invite these particular people to come to the feast. So they go out and they invite them and they let them know. It's like getting an invitation a month in advance. So they go out and they say, coming up on this day, the king is going to throw a feast and you are invited to the wedding banquet. So put this on your calendar and make plans to attend. So then the king and all of his servants make all the preparations that are necessary for the feast to happen. And then he sends his people out. You know, this was a time before email and phone calls, so everything had to be done by word of mouth. So he says, now go out and remind the people that today's the day and to come right now because the feast is ready. So the servants go out to do this. And as they go out to the people who were invited, they hear all these excuses. I got business to take care of. I can't come. I have a farm to harvest. I can't come. I got to go take care of something else that's pressing against me. I can't come. I have a sporting event to go to. I can't come. You know, and so all these excuses abound. The servants go back to the king and say, King, they're not coming. They're not coming. Imagine the heartache of the king. All these preparations, and they're not coming. And so the king says, well, then I want you to go back out, and I want you to wander along the streets, and I want you to gather everybody to come. I want everybody to come. And so the servants say, okay, sounds like fun. So we'll go out and we'll invite, and soon the wedding hall is full. This sense of invitation, of being invited into relationship, which is what you have done when you called me to serve as your pastor. You invited me into the relationship with you, into the busyness of your lives. And in arriving, Bob and I have invited you into our lives, into the messiness of our lives, the frantic, the ups and downs. And relationships are never easy, right? We know that to be true. Relationships are not easy. And so as we enter into this relationship with one another, there are going to be some growing pains and some ups and downs. And the way that I always approach relationships is that if we keep talking with each other, we're going to be okay. It's when we refuse the invitation, when we let other things cloud that relationship and we decide, I'm just too busy. I don't want to put the energy into a relationship with her. I don't want to put anything into, I don't want to put any energy. I have too much going on. I just don't want to deal with it. When we stop talking with each other, we are no longer healthy, and our relationships suffer. So when we walk away from the invitation to come to the feast, to join in the celebration, when we let other things get in the way of that, our relationships between each other and our relationship with God through Jesus suffers. St. Paul writes in Philippians, focus on whatever is true, whatever is just, whatever is pure. Let these things be what shapes your life. Now, my daughter, I have two, and Becky is our youngest daughter, and her favorite word as a teenager was whatever. And she would say it in different ways. Whatever, with her little hands on her hips, you know. Whatever, Mom. You know, and each time that same word had a different connotation behind it. And believe me, we could understand what she was trying to say to us through that one word. And so this word has always stood out for me. And I love this text from Philippians because Paul shapes this word into a positive way, into an invitation for us to focus our energy, our attention, to shape our lives around whatever is pure, whatever is faithful, whatever is open and honest and loving. And as we shape our lives around those things, and as we live in relationship with one another, and as we go up and down and hit all the speed bumps along the way, when we are collectively and individually focused on whatever is pure, whatever is holy, whatever is open and loving, when we focus on those things, this community of faith, the people and the congregation of St. Philip, all of us together will grow in faithfulness and love of God and each other. God has invited us into relationship. We've said yes to each other. And now we enter into this time of living together, focusing on those things that unite and build us up. And when those things come along that are going to rattle our cages just a bit, focusing on those too, but focusing on whatever is true, whatever is just, whatever is loving, whatever is hopeful and open and honest. And so, my sisters and brothers, this day God invites us to a special feast, a feast that's going to be served from the table around as we stand here to receive by intinction today. But the invitation of God is here. And as God calls us to come, we come ready to receive, so that then we can go and be strengthened for the work of God in the world outside of these walls. And so I invite you, as God calls you to come to the table this day, to come with hands open and hearts open to receive the goodness of God, and then to be empowered by God's Spirit to go forth, to live the gospel, whatever is honest, whatever is open, whatever is loving, whatever is true. Thanks be to God. Amen.